So here in this video, I'm going to teach you the easiest and most popular way on how to tie a tie. This method is called the fore and hand knot. And what you want to do is you want to take the wide end of the tie in your right hand and the narrow end of the tie in your left hand. And generally you want to make the wide end of the tie twice as long as the narrow end. Each tie is a different length, so you probably have to practice a few times before you figure out which length is the best, but generally you want the wide end of the tie twice as long as the narrow end. And once you do this, you want to take the wide end of the tie and you want to wrap it around the narrow end so that the wide end of the tie ends up in the front. Notice how the wide end is in the front covering the narrow end. After you do this, you want to take the wide end of the tie and you want to take it and push it through the loop that's created by your neck. And notice how this knot is starting to form. And what you want to do is you want to take the wide end of the tie and push it through the knot. You want to make sure that you keep everything straight. And now we have created our fore and hand knot. Now you need to pull the narrow end of the tie and make it tight with your neck. Make sure everything's straight. Pull the collar over the tie. And now we have completely finished our fore and hand knot.
Hello and welcome to my tutorial for this, the rose knot. Something that I came up with after trying to find something that didn't just look like a triangle. Let me show you how it's done. The first step is to pop your collar and get a tie, as with any tie knot. The next is to bring the tie so that the fat end rests at your waist. So I think you can see that, but trust me, it's there. Then you want to put a dimple in it, like so, and you're ready to go. And this is because this tie is a little different, so much as you actually have to wrap around the thin end, as opposed to the, where'd it go? The fat end, here. So you just saw the first move here, and that is to just bring it around like that. Then you want to move that thin end and pass it through the top while holding the dimple. That makes sure that it's nice and good. Then you end up with this triangle thing, and that is the base for the rest of the knot. So you want to pass the tie over that and then up. The second weird thing is that you actually have to then reopen that so that you can put your finger through it like that, and then bring the tie through that. And that's what gives it the weaved look. Take the thin end that you just passed through here, as you can see, and bring it back down through the hole in the back. Now you're going to need to tighten this mess up, and the way you do that is that you pull down on the right side of the triangle. That brings in this here. And then you want to pull up on the top of the triangle, and that brings in that. You may need to do that a couple of times, but it's fairly quick. Alright, then you're left with that here, which looks good in its own right, but unfortunately we have this hanging off and we can't just leave it here. So what we're going to do is open up a loop, do the same basic principle as before, and pass it through. This time we bring it straight down. Now you're left with something like that, with this hanging off the left side. Now we can't just leave it here because it's right in the way. So what we're going to do is, instead of passing it down, is we're actually going to hide it inside our collar by hiding it behind the rest of the tie. put it there, and as you can see, it holds itself fairly well. So if you happen to be moving a lot during the night, that's not going anywhere. So once you're like that, you're pretty much golden. You bring down the collar, and there you have the rose knot. Now to adjust this, you want to pull on the fat end, and that brings it up here. And most of the time you're going to be ending up with something kind of like what I have here, where it's all wrinkly. Now one way you can get rid of that, or at least help get rid of some of it, is to get a headphone jack and just put it in there, and just slide it around, trying to flatten it out. As you can see, it's just a little bit better. And another thing you can do is put your thumb on the back and support the knot on all three of its sides with your fingers and push forward, and that plumps it up and that fleshes out any of the remaining bumps. Well, at least most of them. It's never going to be perfect, but you can get pretty darn close. So now you put it in your vest, or just let it drape inside your jacket, and there you go. That there is how you tie the rose knot. Thanks for watching.